Okay, fantasy cheat sheeters, welcome back. Today we have the top 10 tight ends for fantasy for the 2023 NFL Draft. Jumping right in at number 10 from the University of Cincinnati, we have Josh Whyle. Big frame, 6'6.5", 250 pounds. He was a 3-year starter, very productive in the red zone. Used his big frame always to box people out. He had 15 touchdowns in the last 3 seasons from the tight end position. Good blocker. This guy's going to be good in the NFL. At number 9, out of Penn State, we have Brenton Strange. He's another long line of Penn State tight ends that being coached up by that staff there, and specifically that coach, the tight end coach, he said this might be the best one yet. And for those that know, Penn State's been producing a lot of tight ends in the last 20 to 30 years coming out of that university. So very excited about Brenton Strange. At number 8, sticking in the Big Ten from the University of Michigan, we have Luke Schoonmaker. He's a 1-year starter at Michigan and only got the starting job due to injury, but bursted on the scene this year and produced very well. University of Michigan, Jim Harbaugh's system is very tough on tight ends. So just the fact that he was able to get on the field and produce shows he's a smart player, good in all aspects, and then he tested above what was expected throughout the process. So he's coming in as a big riser in this year's pre-draft process. At number 7, one of the most polarizing tight ends of this draft, out of Oregon State, Luke Musgrave. Now, Luke's had a lot of trouble staying on the field with injuries, but people are going to project on just his upside. Huge frame, ran incredibly well. People knew that he's a seam threat type tight end. My concern is if you're going to be drafting him, you are drafting a player that wasn't able to stay on the field in college. So is he going to be able to stay on the field in the NFL? That is the big question. Coming in at number 6, out of South Dakota State, we have Tucker Kraft. Here's a player coming out of the Jackrabbits program that isn't a dominant athletic profile. Didn't dominate at that level. Did well for 2 seasons. But he just kind of checks all the boxes as being able to be competent or above competent in many areas that you need with a tight end. I think he's going to be wearing a jersey and in the league for a long time. But I hope you're not expecting to get a top 10 dominant tight end that helps you win big time matchups. But if you're looking for a productive one that has the upside of staying in the league, this is a guy for you to target in that mid to later rounds. A guy that's probably going to get drafted a little bit higher because of his testing is my number 5 tight end out of Old Dominion, redshirt senior, Zack Kuntz. Now, Zack transferred from Penn State and then started producing at Old Dominion here in the last couple of years. But the thing that is most excited about our number 5 tight end is that he tested as the number 1 tight end of all time, has the number 1 RAS score of all time, pretty much reset every record at the combine for the tight end in athletic testing. This guy was dominant and has been a huge riser. Now, small school guy, had to leave Penn State to get the gig at Old Dominion, but produced there and now just we know as the athletic freak. At number 4, from Iowa, Sam LaPorta. I believe Iowa is really a tight end university. They produce players in that cold environment that can do a little bit of everything. Now, I don't know if we're getting a Kittle or if we're getting a Dallas Clark, but we're getting a tight end from Iowa. And I'm just really excited for his floor. I think it's one of the safest tight ends coming out. Not a lot of question marks. Besides, is he going to be a dominant one? That I don't know. But he's going to be a good tight end for a long time. At number 3, from the University of Georgia, another incredibly big tight end, 6'7", junior, Darnell Washington. Now, this guy has some highlight tapes that everybody knows about, jumping over people at his size, the one-handed catch at the combine. But the highlight that I think people really need to understand how good of a blocker he is, watch the sled drill at the combine compared to other players. That's a 6'7" guy moving that sled, which the taller you are, the harder it is to move that sled. So he stays low and he can block like no other. At number 2, really was number 1 on everybody's list prior to the season, but University of Notre Dame junior Michael Mayer. Top tight end recruit coming out, produced from day 1 at Notre Dame. Just the reason that he's number 2 is, though I think he's going to be really good, he's more of like a Jason Witten. Never going to be a top 5, but always be a top 15 type tight end. The upside is not massive, but the floor is very good. He does everything well. He's a great blocker. Above average to good blocker. He still has a little bit of work on that, but very willing. And then just sure-handed tight end. So that's my number 2. Number 1, you probably realized by now, out of University of Utah, Dalton Kincaid. Injuries kept him out of the pre-draft process, but he has some uncoachable traits that gets people excited about what he might be in the league. I think in the right system, and if he can get over this back injury, which all things are saying that he's being cleared, he could be what you're hoping for in this draft of a lot of good players as that consistent top 5 to top 8 fantasy producer at the level. He's got some just uncanny ability to get open, kind of Kelsey-like ability. I'm not going to say he's Travis Kelsey, but that ability to find the openings is what he was so good at this last 2 years at Utah. So there's the list, guys. 10 tight ends heading into the draft. I'm looking forward to see where they land, and hopefully you guys learned something, found something about players, and help build your board for your upcoming leagues. I'm Johnny Stocks, and we'll see you guys next time with the Fantasy Cheat Sheet.